The woke left is absolutely shocked to find out who their new enemy is. It's none other than the actor Woody Harrelson. We're going to take a look at how he crushed vax mandates over the weekend, how the legacy media is having a collective meltdown, and make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video when we'll find out why it's all too little too late. The media and the woke left have already lost. You're not going to want to miss this. The audience appeared to be rather stunned. They didn't quite know how to react. SNL, of course, draws a more liberal audience, but judging by the reaction that monologue got from the legacy media, you would have thought that Woody Harrelson was a full-blown far-right anti-vaxxer. Rolling Stone came out almost immediately with a hit piece against Harrelson, accusing him of pushing conspiracy theories in his SNL monologue. The Washington Post did the exact same thing. And what's so bizarre is however, inadvertently, they just played right into Woody Harrelson's critique. At least one person noticed that. A Twitter handle, Kanekawa the Great, published the perfect tweet quoting Harrelson saying the biggest drug cartels in the world got together and bought up all the media. And then he highlights Rolling Stone, Daily Beast, Huffington Post, Variety, all with basically the exact same headline accusing Harrelson of pushing conspiracy theories. And more than that, if you really think through the punchline of the joke, it's actually got nothing to do with anything these headlines are pushing. Viva Frei responded particularly to Rolling Stone with, quote, "You're proving that you're not only relentless propagandists, but that you're uncompromising morons as well, even assuming Woody was talking about COVID and the jabs. The punchline of his joke is that he takes the drugs voluntarily. Morons, propagandist morons." Well, that certainly may be the case, but this weekend's SNL wasn't the first time Woody Harrelson openly criticized Big Pharma. Here he is on Bill Maher's podcast getting even deeper into the issue.
Here's the CDC promoting that we have to do all of these things, right? I don't like profiteering in war, you know? Right. Think of the billions of dollars that have gone to Big Pharma. But I was getting back to my original point. The last people I would trust with my health is Big Pharma and Big Government, because neither one of those strike me as caring entities.
Spoken as the perfect redneck hippie. Really, if that message doesn't...
they're all about profit.
Exactly.
They're all about profit.
And both sides know that.
And it's obscene the profit they've made.
The last entities that I would trust with my health are Big Pharma and Big Business. And he kept going.
I think they've done a lot of studies about vitamin D and how important it was when the people who had low levels, they were much more vulnerable to COVID. Why not tell people that? Can't you make money selling vitamin D? Is it that what's the worst that could happen?
But that's just it, man. There was only one thing, ivermectin got made into a, horse tranquilizer, or horse, whatever it is.
Which it is, but also used by humans.
It's used by millions and millions of humans. Hydroxychloroquine got made ridiculous. And there was only one thing that could work, and that's the vaccine, right? And so ultimately, because of that, billions of dollars was made.
So it would appear that the woke leftist gatekeepers of big media are well aware of Harrelson's disgust for Big Pharma, and they use the occasion of his SNL monologue to push back against him. And ironically, his critique that big media is in the pocket of Big Pharma. But again, the irony here is that it's all too little too late for the legacy media. Whether anyone likes it or not, the world is waking up, and leftist liberals have only themselves to blame. Again, what should be noted here with that discussion between Bill Maher and Woody Harrelson, that's not a discussion between two far-right QAnon conspiracy theorists. That was a discussion between two bona fide liberals. Both those guys have, up until relatively recently, positioned themselves center-left. What we're witnessing is the fact that pro-vax, pro-big pharma, pro-big government establishment forces are largely losing even the left. Of course, they never had the right to begin with. But now they're even losing the likes of Bill Maher and Woody Harrelson and Piers Morgan alike. In fact, perhaps the single most vocal critic against Big Pharma right now and vax mandates is a Democrat, Bobby Kennedy Jr. And we're going to find out exactly why the left has lost the left, and in doing so has lost everything. But first, gang, make sure to click on that link below and head on over to my special website for the Ready Project food supply. No one makes preparing for an emergency more ridiculously easy and affordable than our good friends over at the Ready Project Food Supply. Their food kits last up to 25 years in storage. They include breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Every meal's at least 2,000 calories. And if you act right now, you're going to save 25% off a full 4-week emergency food supply when you click on that link below to my special website. So whatever you do, do not wait. Click on that link below and start building your own emergency food supply today. Things really started to unravel when the nation witnessed in horror the collapsing of 24-year-old Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills on live television. We now know, of course, that he suffered from cardiac arrest. And soon thereafter, there appeared to be, nothing less than a massive backlash against the vaccines. A Rasmussen poll came out just days after Hamlin's collapse and found that nearly 1 in 3 respondents, 28%, claimed they knew someone they believed who died from COVID-19 vaccines. Nearly 50% of those surveyed believe that it's likely that side effects of COVID-19 vaccines have caused a significant number of unexplained deaths. And not surprisingly, 28% of them believe that it's very likely that that's the case. Moreover, we've been seeing of late a number of official and scholarly investigations into possible adverse reactions to the vaccines, such as the 2021 investigation by Japanese scientists and the causal relationship between vaccine usage and deaths, though the conclusions from that particular study remain ambiguous. And interestingly, so-called vaccine hesitancy is not limited to far right-wingers in the United States. Reuters is reporting that China is having a huge problem with anti-vaxxers, as the number of boosted citizens has dropped dramatically. 90% of the Chinese population is reported to be vaccinated, but that number that has chosen to get the boosters has dropped to about half of that. And again, the primary reason cited for not getting the boosters, people increasingly don't trust the vaccines. They're increasingly worried about adverse side effects. Again, for right or for wrong, this is what appears to be a growing perception. On top of all that, we now know that the lab leak theory, which is today widely recognized as the most plausible explanation for the origin of the virus, we now know that the legacy media did everything they could to actively and deliberately suppress that theory when it originally came out. And of course, this is all against the backdrop of the Supreme Court and lower courts striking down as blatantly unconstitutional virtually every single vax mandate out there. So what all of this means is that liberals, in pushing big pharma and mandates and the like, acted radically illiberal. This is why so many on the left, from Bill Maher to Bobby Kennedy, Woody Harrelson, they've all jumped ship. They recognize that the liberals pushing these policies were pushing radically anti-liberal policies. Now, of course, that leads to the question, why on earth are liberals doing this? Why are liberals becoming anti-liberal? And a key reason for that is akin to what we were talking about in our last video today on the cancellation of Scott Adams. A number of scholars recognize that liberalism entails its own futility. Liberalism lacks frames of reference necessary for sustainable social order, such as healthy fertility levels, group bonding dynamics that contribute to high levels of social trust. Absent certain society-sustaining frames of reference, liberalism begins to recede. It loses its grip on society. And so in order to maintain that grip artificially, liberals have to resort to increasingly illiberal tactics like vax mandates and cancel culture. So liberalism is transforming into full-blown wokeness, which is radically anti-liberal. And it's leaving more and more of those on the center left without a political home. And that's exactly what we saw over the weekend. So, of course, we'll keep an eye on how things develop here, but it looks like an SNL monologue was yet the latest sign that the political left is unraveling, and they only have themselves and their ideology to blame. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Elon Musk defending Scott Adams against woke cancel culture. You're not going to want to miss that, so make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.